All right, and hello and welcome to the Movie Pet Podcast. I am your host, Christian. Thank you once again for joining me. Hopefully, you came back and I didn't bore you with my first introduction podcast. Um, so, the Oscars are this Sunday. If you care about that, I don't know if you do, but if you, I sort of do. It's nice sometimes, to see other people achieve greatness and you're not doing anything. Oh, that got really dark, didn't it? All right, never mind. Let's move on. So yeah, the Oscars are this Sunday, and I figured, I throw my 2 cents in on who could possibly win. I want to get the podcast juices flowing. So starting off slow by predicting who's gonna win the biggest awards in Hollywood. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's what I'm gonna do because I got nothing else going on. This is really self-deprecating. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so the Oscars, of course, one of the most prestigious events and awards in Hollywood going on today. I won't be predicting all the Oscars nominations, only because there's some that I just don't know. I can really give my full grasp on, like the foreign language film category. I haven't seen any of them, and I've heard some good things about them. Some of them, like Mustang and Son of Saul, and A War. I think I'm pretty sure one of those three will definitely win, just because they're kind of the most buzzed about ones. Documentaries, I haven't seen any of the documentaries. I have seen one, which was Cartel Land, and I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna win, but I did see that one. I really wanted to watch Amy, which is the documentary about Amy Winehouse, but I never got around to watching it. Another one I won't. A few of the other ones I won't mention a winner are editing, sound, including sound editing and mixing, just because that can go kind of either way, really. Original song, only because the only real one I've heard so far is the Sam Smith song that he did for Spectre, which was "Writings on the Wall," which I didn't really like. I don't. It's not really my favorite Bond song. So yeah. Also short films. I haven't seen any of the short films, animated or live action, except for the animated short film Sanjay Super Team. Only because I was playing in front of. Was it Inside Out? No, it wasn't Inside Out. Maybe it was Inside Out. I don't remember which one it was. It was playing one in the front of the Disney animated films, and I can't remember which one it was. But that's the only one I watched. So on that basis, I'm guessing I'm rooting for Sanjay Super Team to win. Although it was very well put together animated short film. So I won't be talking about any of those. Some of the other ones, some of the quick ones, I guess. Costume design, there's that. Nominees are Carol, Mad Max, Fury Road, The Revenant, Cinderella, and The Danish Girl. Um, maybe Carol will win, maybe The Revenant will win, or The Danish Girl. This is not bragging, by the way. I went on a trip to LA back in December, and one of the theaters I went to, one of the Archlight theaters I went to, they had like two, was it two or three? I can't remember, but it was they had the costumes there for the Danish Girl, and I thought they looked really elegant. They looked really beautiful, and I thought this is great. I haven't seen the Danish Girl. Excuse me. So I can't really predict anyone from that winning. Looking at you, Eddie Redmayne and Alicia Vikander. So there's that. Production design, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, The Danish Girl, British Spies, and The Martian are nominated. I kind of wish Mad Max will win, just because Mad Max is like nominated for a crap ton of awards and has to win at least a few of them. So I think he'll probably win for some technical stuff. I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture, which is nominated for. So sadly, although it'd be really awesome, but it won't win. Visual effects, you have Ex Machina, The Martian, Star Wars: Force Awakens, Mad Max Fury Road, and The Revenant. I kind of wish Ex Machina will win, only because it's kind of the only film that it's nominated for. I think maybe besides writing, which we'll get to in a second. Yeah, it's nominated for original screenplay. So Ex Machina is only nominated for like two things, and I kind of wish it wins for visual effects, because I don't think that Alex Garland, who wrote the film, will win the Oscar, but I kind of wish that it would win for Ex Machina or for visual effects because it'd be really nice to see it. I think there's some weird fact that it's the lowest budgeted movie that's nominated for visual effects because The Martian cost a lot. Star Wars Force Awakens, which is nominated, which maybe will win, is also nominated. And I say maybe very, very loosely, obviously, because I think it might win. So there's that. Music, original score, maybe John Williams gets the Oscar for his work in Star Wars Force Awakens. Maybe. Ennio Morricone, who's nominated for, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe I did. For The Hateful Eight, he could probably win. I think he's the oldest person alive. That I have a few facts that I'll give at the end of the podcast. I'm trying to remembering some of them off memory, but I think he's the oldest living person that is nominated for an Oscar. So yeah, there's that. So I think maybe he'll win. Sicario, the guy who Johan Johansson is nominated for Sicario. Thomas Newman is nominated for Bridge of Spies, and Curtis Burnwell is nominated for Carol. I think either Williams, Morricone, or Burwell will probably win for musical score. Although Johan Johansson's work in Sicario was really, the score there was really, just harrowing, and every time, the score was playing in the background, I thought it totally fit with the movie. Sicario was a great movie, by the way. I did like Sicario a lot more than I think other people. Although Sicario is a well-liked movie, but I'm just saying, amongst some close personal friends of mine, some people didn't like Sicario. But whatever. Okay, kind of the last technical award that I want to get into is cinematography. So the nominees for cinematography are John Seale for Mad Max Fury Road, Robert Richardson for The Hateful Eight, Edward Lachman for Carol, Roger Deakins for Sicario, and Emmanuel Lubezki, aka Chivo, for The Revenant. So I really feel sorry for Roger Deakins, only because he Roger Deakins. If you don't know, you should really start paying attention to more behind that. That's one of the things I will try to drill into your heads on this podcast. Start paying attention to the people behind the camera, especially cinematography, the cinematographers. Roger Deakins is one of them. Roger Deakins is a great cinematographer. Everything he does is not kinda. It is great. It's awesome to look at, and he does these beautiful shots, but every year he's nominated, he kind of almost always loses. And the last few years he's been nominated against Chivo, and he loses. And I'm starting to feel sorry for Roger Deakins because he does these great cinematography works. He did Sicario. Another one people will probably know him from. He did Skyfall. He recently did Hail Caesar, the Coen Brothers movie, and the cinematography in Hail Caesar is fantastic. But every time he does a movie, there's someone else, sometimes Chivo, Emmanuel Lubezki, who is there to be like, no, this is my Oscar. So I guarantee that Chivo will win for The Revenant in the cinematography category, unless they pull an upset and be like, no, you know what? We're going to give it to Roger Deakins this time. That could very well happen. So there's that. But I think Chivo's going to pull out the win. All right, let's go to writing. So there's two categories for writing. There is the adapted screenplay, which the nominees are Emma Donoghue for Room, Nick Horbury for Brooklyn. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Charles Randolph and Anna McKay for The Big Short, Drew Goddard for The Martian, and Phyllis Nagy, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, for Carol. This one's gonna be this one's interesting, only because The Big Short has been winning awards and other award ceremonies. It won Best Ensemble. I think it was the SAG Awards that it won. I can't remember which one it won for it, but I think this can go either way. I think Phyllis Nagy will win for Carol. I think maybe Drew Goddard does definitely have a good chance of winning for The Martian, but another good chance is Charles Randolph and Anna McKay for The Big Short. As much as I would, by the way, Brooklyn and Room were fantastic movies, and I'll get more into them when I talk about the Best Picture nominees. I feel the Academy will go a different way. I could be wrong, obviously. Again, if you heard my introduction podcast, I'm not an expert. I'm a casual expert. So I don't know who will win. I think there's a good chance that maybe Carol wins for adapted screenplay, maybe The Martian, and The Big Short. Those are my. If I had to pick three, which I think I'm going to do, I'm picking three potential winners. Those would be my three. So Carol, The Martian, or The Big Short probably win for best adapted screenplay. When it comes to original screenplay work, nominees there's a lot of them. A lot of them were grouped together. So there's Matt Charman and the Coen brothers for Bridge of Spies. There's Pete Docter, Megan. I'm not gonna pronounce his name right at all. Lefebvre, I don't know. Josh Cooley and Ronnie Del Carmen for Inside Out. There's Alex Garland for Ex Machina. There is Josh Singer, and Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. And there is finally the writers of Straight Outta Compton, which are there's quite a few of them. I'm surprised. I forgot how many people wrote Straight Outta Compton. Not one of them black. Oscar So White. No, I'm not gonna talk about Oscar So White. I'm not gonna get into that in the podcast. At least not this one. There's Andrea Berloff, Jonathan Herman, S. Lee Salvage, and Alan Wenkos. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Who wrote Straight Outta Compton? So I think Straight Outta Compton does have a chance of winning. I don't know if they'll give him the win. I'm pretty sure if it wins, there'll be a lot of people upset on Twitter because of the Oscar So White hashtag and controversy and everything. I would like to see Alex Garland win for Ex Machina, only because it's kind of... Ex Machina is like the little movie that could, because it came out of nowhere. Like, people knew it was coming out, but like once people saw it, they're like, oh, it's awesome. And it is. It's great. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. I really liked it. And I'm glad it's getting some Oscar love. But I don't know if Alex Garland will win, because I think the movie that will win original screenplay will probably be Spotlight. So Tom McCarthy and Josh Singer will probably walk out with that. I like Straight Outta Compton. I thought it lost a lot of steam in the third act, because I felt like it was just rushing to get to the end and rushing to get to these big certain points. And it just, like, the timeline was all weird and all that. And I just lost a lot of steam in the third act, personally. Not saying it's not a bad movie. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. It just lost a lot of steam in the third act. So, yeah. But I think Spotlight picks up the win for that. For best original screenplay. Let's move on to animated films. This is the only year that I haven't seen more than one animated film that was nominated for an Oscar. Usually I see like 2 or 3. This year I've only seen 1, and I'm kind of ashamed. I really wanted to watch one of these nominees, which was Anomalisa, which was the movie with oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Kaufman, the Kaufman movie. For some reason I'm forgetting his first name. I can't believe it. Anyway, I think that has a good chance of winning anyway. Anomalisa, because a lot of people were really talking about that movie. It was really buzzed about, and I think that has a good chance of winning if the Oscars don't give it to Pixar again for Inside Out. And don't get me wrong, I liked Inside Out. I thought it was a great movie. I think it was one of Pixar's most emotional movies, because I think it's the only movie, I think besides Up, that I remember being really emotionally invested in the characters, and Toy Story 3, obviously. But Inside Out, I think it was one of those movies that it really got you emotionally invested in what was going on. And I think that, Pixar's great at, pulling at our heartstrings, and I think that was it. So, Inside Out and Anomalisa, I think I'm pronouncing that right, will probably win Best Oscar. The other nominees, just in case you want to know, are The Boy in the World, which I never heard of, Shaun the Sheep, and When Marnie Was There. So there you go. All right, let's get to the big ones. Quote unquote big ones. Director. The nominees are Lenny Abrahamson for Room, George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road. You got Adam McKay for The Big Short, Tom McCarthy for Spotlight, and Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for The Revenant. This one is pretty interesting because there's, you have all these stories about if a movie wins in a certain category, it's going to win Best Picture. And I think it's director. I think a lot of times, most of the time, if the director wins for, said movie, then that movie will win for Best Picture. I think it's director. I'm not positive. So, or is it writing? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was writing too. But I think personally, I'm jumping ahead a little bit for Best Picture. But I think The Revenant and Spotlight are going to duke it out. I think those are the top two choices for Best Picture. So, who I think will win Best Director? I think Tom McCarthy for Spotlight and Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu have a great chance of winning Best Director. If you want to go for a dark horse, maybe Adam McKay for The Big Short. I don't think they'll give it to George Miller. I don't know what it was about the Academy that they nominated Mad Max Fury Road. Don't get me wrong, I love Mad Max Fury Road. I saw it 3 times in theaters. I would have seen it more, but more movies are coming out that I want to watch. So I don't know. I honestly don't know who's gonna win. Lenny Abrahamson for Room, I think would be another great dark horse win, but I think the two that are gonna probably pull it off and go home with the Oscar for Best Director is Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu or Tom McCarthy. I think it's a safe bet that one of those two will go home with the Oscar for Best Director. Okay, Best Supporting Actress. Nominees are Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs, Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, Rachel McAdams for Spotlight, Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, and Rooney Mara for Carol. Right off the bat, I don't think that Rachel McAdams will win. She was great in Spotlight. I thought she was great, although she wasn't really the main focus. So I don't know if she will actually end up winning. Alicia Vikander, I haven't seen The Danish Girl, so I don't know. I can't judge on anything. I hear she's great in it. So there's that. Kate Winslet, she was great in Steve Jobs too. She's pretty much great in everything she does. But I don't think she will win. I think the two top contenders for Best Supporting Actress are Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, because she's getting a lot of buzz about it. But I think if I had to pick one, I think the winner will be Rooney Mara for Carol. She was great in it. She really was. And I think that the Oscar is going to lean toward Rooney Mara for winning for Carol. Of course, it's my opinion. So there's that. All right, Best Supporting Actor. We have Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Christian Bale for The Big Short, Mark Rylance, sorry, I'm not sure how I pronounce it, Bridge Spies, Sylvester Stallone for Creed, and Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight. I think very early on, Sylvester Stallone was odds-on favorite for Creed. And I think if he wins for Creed, I think I would be totally okay with it. He was great in Creed. He was great. That scene in the locker room when he's talking to Michael B. Jordan, it takes place like halfway through the movie, I thought was phenomenal. I thought it was great. I thought it was, you become accustomed to seeing some of these actors who get typecast as the tough guy, or, the guy who's always angry or whatever, what have you. And then they go and do something, out of their comfort zone, and you're like, they can't do that, and then they knock it out of the park. But for Sylvester Stallone, we're always, we're used to seeing him, be like, Adrian. Okay, that's bad. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But you're used to seeing, him, kind of be the tough guy with the Expendables roles and all this stuff. So when, he's in Creed and he's playing his age, he's older, he goes through something. I'm not gonna spoil anything about Creed if you haven't seen it yet, which it's a shame because you should be watching, or you should see Creed. He's great in it. That scene that I was talking about earlier when he's in the locker room talking to Michael B. Jordan after this, I'll say, life-changing event happens, it's it's a great scene to sit through, and it's a great scene to remind us that Sylvester Stallone can act if he's given the right thing to do. And I got emotional in that scene. I'm not gonna lie, I got really emotional in that scene. The scene was really powerful, and if he wins, I will not complain, and we shouldn't complain because he was great in that. So I think he's one of the top 3 contenders. The other contender is Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. I thought his performance in the movie was great. I wish there was more of him in the film. He's in the film. He's like the primary focus, like for the first half of the movie, and in the second half of the movie, the primary focus is Tom Hanks. Well, Tom Hanks is the primary focus in both because he's the lead character. He's the main character. But Mark Rylance's character opens the film, and it's this really like cold opening. So he doesn't speak. He's just going through the motions. He's just doing his stuff, and you're so invested in him. You're so entranced by what he does. He does it in such a way where it's like you just want to follow him this whole time. You wish the movie was in real time just so you can follow him and see what he does. He's great in it. He really is, and I think he should become a household name after this because his performance in this movie is great. And Mark Ruffalo, I think Mark Ruffalo will probably walk out. If I had to pick Sylvester Stallone, Mark Rylance, or Mark Ruffalo to win, it'd be a really tough choice. But I think Mark Ruffalo walks out with his performance in Spotlight. He was great in Spotlight. Mark Ruffalo is great in everything he does, pretty much. But his performance in Spotlight, I think, is the thing that will get him the Oscar. I think Mark Ruffalo will win. I think if I had to pick between the 3, I think he'll win. I would like to see it go to Sly just because he gave a great performance. Dark horse will definitely be Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Okay, Best Actress. We have Charlotte Rampling for 45 Years. If you never heard of that movie, don't worry. I never heard about it until the Oscar nominations came out. Jennifer Lawrence for Joy. I wanted to look up. I wanted to say her name correctly. I'm not gonna say it correctly. I should have done that. Saoirse Ronan. I completely butchered her name. For Brooklyn. Brie Larson for Room, and Cate Blanchett for Carol. Again, I never heard of 45 Years until the Oscar nominations came out. Charlotte Rampling, I'm sure you'll know who she is. She's been popping up in a lot of big things lately. She was in the last season of Dexter, which is the thing for some reason, the only thing that I can think of that pops in. She was in a BBC America series called London Spy. She had like a very small role in it for a few episodes, but she's great. She's a great actress, but I don't know if she will win, only because no one's heard of, or people have heard of 45 Years, obviously, but because people want to probably go see it, but I don't think she'll pull it off, only because there are stronger contenders in the category, not because she's a bad actress, not at all. I don't think Jennifer Lawrence will win this year. She's won other years, but I don't think she'll pull off the win for Joy. I thought Joy was an okay movie. Jennifer Lawrence is great in it, but I thought just the movie was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't awesome. It was just okay. I'm not even gonna try to say her first name again. Ronan for Brooklyn. I loved Brooklyn. I thought Brooklyn was great. I was really surprised by Brooklyn. I had only seen the trailer about maybe twice in theaters, and I knew nothing more about it. I went in. It's one of those rare movies that I just walked in, hearing stuff online saying it was great. So I went in, and I was completely blown away by it. Brooklyn was one of my favorite movies last year. It was one of my best movies last year too. So it was. I think she is a good contender. I think she is one of the top 3 contenders for me personally to win the Oscar. Brie Larson for Room, I think she has a good chance of winning too. She won the Golden Globe, which doesn't really mean anything. Just in case you don't know, Golden Globes don't really mean anything. But I thought she was great in Room. Is she gonna win? I hope she does. I am rooting for her to win, but again, I don't know if she will win. I think the person that will walk out with the Oscar for Best Actress is Cate Blanchett for Carol. Cate Blanchett, obviously, another one, always good in everything she does, and I think she has a good chance of walking out with the Oscar. I really do. She was great in Carol. She really was, and I would say she deserves the Oscar for it. So that's gonna be a tough category this year. All these categories are gonna be tough because sometimes you're like there's a clear front runner on who's gonna win. Not this year. This year, I think different from last year. I think this year's Oscars, it can really go either way. All right, Best Actor, the big one. Well, not the big one. Obviously, the big one's Best Picture, which we'll get to in a second. Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs, Bryan Cranston for Trumbo, Matt Damon for The Martian, and Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. Again, I haven't seen The Danish Girl, but I hear that Eddie Redmayne may not. He's a front runner, but he's not the biggest front runner. Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs. I like Steve Jobs. I like Fassbender in Steve Jobs. What he was able to do with the character, and with, not just the character, but with Aaron Sorkin's writing was just spot on. It was awesome. Bryan Cranston for Trumbo. I didn't see Trumbo, and I'm still mad at myself for not watching it. Matt Damon for The Martian. I thought Matt Damon was great. I think he is a front runner for winning. But Oscars, don't screw this up. Give it to Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. Give it to Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant. He deserves it. He put his body through hell. Literally, we all watched the movie. We saw what he went through. We all know that the production really shot during the winter. He just give it to him. Honestly, just give. If anything, I think this is the movie that he finally deserves the Oscar. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it for Wolf of Wall Street and for Django Unchained, but what he did in The Revenant, he was great in it. The movie was great, but just give him the Oscar. He deserves it. He deserves it. And I'm not just saying that just because they finally give him the Oscar. He deserves it. He does deserve to win the Oscar for The Revenant. So there's that. All right. Finally, Best Picture. We have the nominees: Room, Brooklyn, Mad Max Fury Road, Bridge of Spies, The Martian, The Big Short, The Revenant, and Spotlight. All right. I watched all these movies. This is the first year. I think this is the first year in maybe 3 or 4 years, something like that, where I have seen all the nominees for Best Picture. Hooray for me, right? So yeah, I liked all these movies. I really did. I liked all of them. I thought all of them were great to amazing. Room was just pulled on my heartstrings. That was one of those movies where that was another movie where I didn't really know anything about it. I think I hadn't even seen the trailer for Room. I had just seen the poster. I had seen like a commercial for it on TV, and that was it. I didn't know what I was walking into. I honestly didn't, and I was blown away by it too. Just like Brooklyn, I was blown away by just going in. Room is fantastic. It's not a movie you just watch. Like, you have to be kind of in a certain mood to watch Room. But if you're in that certain mood, watch Room. It's fantastic. It's great. Brie Larson's awesome in it. The kid in the movie, Jacob Tremblay, I think is his last name. He's great in it. He's fantastic in it. He steals the movie from Brie Larson and everyone else in the movie. He's awesome in it. He's great. I see big things in the future for that young man. Brooklyn, again, fantastic. I thought Ronan was great in it. I forgot the guy's name. I don't even remember. But her love interest, one of her love interests in the movie is he's great in it. I haven't never seen or heard of that guy before, and he's awesome in the movie. So yeah, it's a great cast. It's great. Everyone has great chemistry. You should watch Brooklyn if you haven't watched it. It's a good date movie. I didn't go in watching it with a date because I'm lonely. But that sounded more pathetic than anyway, well, it's a good date movie. I'll just say that. There's people on there on dates and they seem to enjoy themselves. So I'll say that. Bridge of Spies, great. It's Tom Hanks. He's Tom Hanks. You can't hate Tom Hanks. Maybe you can, but you really can't. The Martian, equally great. I read the book before I saw the movie. It's a pretty good adaptation of the book. Obviously, they cut some stuff out, but it's great. Matt Damon's awesome in it. Ridley Scott coming back to form a little bit with The Martian. I'm not gonna say he's back, because he'll probably Ridley Scott's taking a bit of a dive with his directorial efforts. I think some people will agree with me on that, but he's I'm still a fan of Ridley Scott. I have not turned my back on Ridley Scott at all. The Big Short was great. I didn't know what to expect from The Big Short. It's really one of those movies where you kind of had to pay attention and kind of know a little bit of what was going on at the time with the financial crisis, with the house crisis. So I was a little lost on that a little bit, but I still ended up really enjoying the film. The cast was great. Everyone did a fantastic job, and it was directed by Adam McKay, which some people are still surprised at. But again, you put someone in a corner long enough, they go out of their comfort zone, they wreck something or act in something that no one's gonna be like, you can't do that, and it turns out great. That's what Adam McKay was. That's what he did with The Big Short. The Revenant, great film, awesome movie. Again, not the happy-go-lucky kind of movie you want to go watch. You got to be kind of maybe in the mood to watch The Revenant too, but it's a great film. What they were able to do with natural light, because they didn't shoot it, they shot it in natural light. They shot it outside. I thought was just and everyone's performance in the movie was great. And Spotlight, finally Spotlight. One of those movies where I didn't know what I was gonna walk into, but Spotlight, and this is gonna sound like I'm insulting it, but it's a good movie. It's great. It's a great movie. Great performances all around, honestly. But it's so simply made that it's still fantastic. And again, it sounds like an insult, like, oh, it's so simply made. They're not just pointing the camera and be like, okay, go ahead guys, and act. No, it's the way they simply shot the movie. Tom McCarthy. It's so simple, but but the way that he put everything together was just it's a well-made movie. So I mentioned earlier, there's this thing about the Oscars where if a movie wins a certain category, that usually means it's going to win Best Picture. And I think it's director or writing. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of the two, or maybe it's both. But nonetheless, I still think, I would have thought anyway, excuse me, that Spotlight or The Revenant are going to walk out with Best Picture at the Oscars. It can go either way. You want to throw a dark horse candidate in there? I would throw in The Big Short or The Martian. I honestly would. But if I were a betting man, and I'm not, believe me, I'm not, I would say that The Revenant and The Martian, I'm sorry, The Revenant and Spotlight, I had the Martians staring right at me. The Revenant or Spotlight are your best chances in your Oscar pool. One of those two movies is going to win the Oscars for Best Picture. I really do think that's the case, and I will be okay with either one. Maybe I'm pulling a little bit more for The Revenant, only because I kind of enjoyed it better than Spotlight. I enjoyed both movies, don't get me wrong, but I think The Revenant was one of those movies where I was like, I kind of enjoy it a little bit more. All right, so those are my picks. Let me run through them a little bit. Again, Inside Out or Amelisa will win for, excuse me, Best Animated Film. Chivo, Emmanuel Lubowski will win. Lubowski? I can't pronounce his last name. I'm so used to everyone calling him Chivo, I just started calling him Chivo too. Even though I don't know him personally. I don't know him. Will win for The Revenant for cinematography, unless they want to finally give it to Roger Deakins. Excuse me. Wow, should probably drink some water. Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu will win for the Best Director for The Revenant, or Tom McCarthy for Spotlight. One of those two guys will win. Best Supporting Actress, Rooney Mara for Carol, or Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight. I'm leaning more toward Rooney Mara for Carol. Best Supporting Actor, Mark Ruffalo is my top choice to win. If not, I'm going with either Sylvester. I'm going probably more with Sylvester Stallone for Creed. My third pick would be Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Best Actress, I'm pretty sure Cate Blanchett will win for Carol. If not, it will probably be Brie Larson for Room, or even this is my darkest candidate. Not in that kind of way. Ronan for Brooklyn. Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Revenant, unless the Oscars decide to screw him over again. Then they'll probably give it to Matt Damon for The Martian. And finally, Best Picture, I think Spotlight or The Revenant will walk out of the Best Picture of the Oscars with the Best Picture Oscar. That was a weirdly put sentence, but yeah, there you go. Those are my picks for the Oscars. I'm gonna give you guys some some weird facts and trivia to end this Oscar podcast. The Revenant has a total of 12 nominations, making it the most nominated film this year. Mad Max Fury Road is second with 10 nominations. Those two films become the fourth and fifth film to ever receive nominations in all 7 categories. All 7 technical categories. They join Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World, Titanic, and Hugo to do that. I mentioned earlier, Ex Machina was the lowest budgeted film to receive a visual effects nomination. Jennifer Lawrence, at 25 years old, is now the youngest actor ever, male or female, to earn 4 Oscar nominations. She's also the highest paid 2016 Oscar nominee with $52 million. Everyone else, just about $6 million. Let that sink in. With 5 nominations for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the Star Wars franchise now ties the Lord of the Rings franchise with a total of 30 nominations at the Oscars. How about that? Speaking of the Star Wars franchise, John Williams now has 50 nominations under his belt, making him the only person alive with the most nominations ever. 45 of those were for musical score, which included this year, and 5 of those belonging for Best Song. The only other person with more is Walt Disney. Yes, that Walt Disney with 59. Now, probably should be an asterisk right next to Walt Disney, considering he was a Disney head and not actually a composer, but whatever. Speaking of composers, Thomas Newman's original score for Bridge of Spies is his 13th nomination. The Newman family, there are 6 Newmans in total, have 89 nominations, making the only family with the most Oscar nominations in that category, which is pretty impressive considering Hollywood. Roger Deakins now has 13 nominations under his belt, making him the only living person with the most nominations for cinematography. Good for him. This is the first Oscar nominations for Tom Hardy, Anna McKay, Bryan Cranston, Brie Larson, Charlotte Rampling, Mark Rylance, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Rachel McAdams, Alicia Vikander, Carter Burwell, and Lady Gaga. If you're wondering what Lady Gaga is nominated for, she's nominated for a Best Original Song. Sylvester Stallone earns his 2nd nomination for Rocky Balboa, making him join the list of only 5 other people with 2 nominations for the same character. That's Bing Crosby, Paul Newman, Peter O'Toole, Al Pacino, and Cate Blanchett. Interestingly enough, only Bing Crosby and Paul Newman have won both times. Only 9 of the 20 acting contenders are American. Only 9 of the 20 are American. All the others represent Australia, Canada, Ireland, Sweden, and the UK, with Michael Fassbender repping both Germany and Ireland. Moreover, out of those 26 already have won an Oscar. That's Eddie Redmayne, Cate Blanchett, Jennifer Lawrence, Christian Bale, Kate Winslet, and Matt Damon. However, Matt Damon didn't win the Oscar for Best Actor. He won it for co-writing Good Will Hunting with Ben Affleck. Here's a weird one. Domhnall Gleeson is in 4 Oscar-nominated films: Brooklyn, The Revenant, Star Wars: Force Awakens, and Ex Machina, but isn't nominated himself. Even though he had small roles in all of them, with the exception of Ex Machina, where he is one of the leads. Steven Spielberg's nomination for producing Bridge of Spies, which he also directed, makes him the most nominated producer, beating out his former producing partner, Kathleen Kennedy. Chibok could make history if he wins for Best Cinematography. If he wins, it would be a record-breaking 3 times in the same category, which I'm sure that record is going to be broken by him. Ennio Morricone sets the new record for the oldest nominee for Best Original Score. I think I mentioned that earlier. He is 87 years old, and he has been nominated a total of 6 times in his career, but he's never won. If by some miracle Eddie Redmayne wins for Best Actor, he'll join Tom Hanks and Spencer Tracy in being the only persons who win the Best Actor category in 2 consecutive years. I think Tom Hanks did it for Forrest Gump, and was it Philadelphia? I think it was Philadelphia. So yeah, and finally, France extends their record for the most nominees in the Best Foreign category for Mustang for a total of 40 nominations. It's only won 12 times in the category, second only to Italy, which has won 14 Oscars in that category. So there you go. There's some weird random trivia facts about the Oscars this year for you guys. All right, so second podcast in the books, and it's an Oscar podcast. I don't know when the next podcast will be. I don't want to set a timetable. I don't want to be like, this is the day you guys can hear a podcast, because I don't know if I can keep it. So I don't want to make that promise to you guys. It will be soon. I promise it will be soon. So sit back, relax. If you watch the Oscars, let me know. Let me know down in the comments or on the Facebook page, The Movie Pit, which I will link in the show notes. Who do you think will win? Who do you think is going to lose? If you're going to, that is if you watch. So yeah, thank you for joining me on the second podcast, first official podcast of The Movie Pit. I am your host, Christian. I will eventually maybe play some music. Hopefully I won't get, copyrighted and sued and all that good stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to shut up now. Have a good day, guys. Watch the Oscars. If you don't, that's fine. It's cool. Whatever. All right. Bye, guys.